Hello everybody, it's vanburman here. Welcome to another video that I'm going to do on Square Enix and, well, Final Fantasy 15 as well. Now I did say, and I have been saying, and I still will continue to say that I've tried to keep away from Final Fantasy 15 as much as possible, but I do like to, read articles in which they've spoke to members of the team regarding the game and, what's their sort of visions are for it, because, let's be honest, this is a Final Fantasy game and it's a series that I love, although, with each new installment that seems to drop off. And I guess the question in my mind while reading what the creators are saying about the projects is that it's Final Fantasy, seems to be Final Fantasy in name only. I mean, some very traditional bits that we've had in terms of Final Fantasy has been the combat system and, well, I'm going to go on to vehicles, but it seems that it gets more and more diluted with every single installment. Now that seems a bit strange for me to say that, because they're trying to be more expansive. Apparently Final Fantasy 15 is going to be open world, even though they've shipped a specific chapter with Type 0. Maybe that's just to keep the demo down, but hopefully it won't just be chapters in the game. They had chapters in Final Fantasy 13. I'm hoping that it is an open game where the chapters don't need to be predefined. You sort of work your way through the story and you yourself come to a realization of what where you are in the story. I mean, you could go through Final Fantasy 7 and split that up into chapters if you really wanted to. And, the starting Midgar area would obviously be the first chapter, and that sort of stuff. But I feel as though, as much as they're looking like they're trying to be more expansive, I feel as though it's going to be shrunk down, especially with the combat as well. The combat before, yes, because there's a lot of random battles. There's going to be random battles in this as well, but it seems like you had a lot more choice. I mean, for example, something I've noticed at least is the more we go on to generations, and especially when you think about boss battles. Now, if you go back and play one in Final Fantasy 7, 8 or 9, there obviously are easier ways to defeat the boss, but there's always different strategies that you can use. I'm trying to think of a good example. In Final Fantasy 7, where you go into the cave where Red's father was, and the demon wall comes alive, and then you fight the the wicker-looking guy with the two bits of fire next to him. You can sort of like take him on by using ice spells and summons and that sort of stuff. Or now there's a really clever way that obviously it's done, because it's obviously undead. You can throw a phoenix down on it and it dies straight away. Now obviously that's the easiest way to do it, and there's multiple ways around it. The problem is, with games being more cinematic, it feels as though Final Fantasy could go a bit more quick time eventy, I suppose. I mean, we've obviously seen that quite a lot in the 13 series, especially there was quite a bit of that in 13 too. More than it's ever been. Actually, I don't think it's ever been in any other game. And yes, I understand they have to make new ideas or come up with new ideas in order to seem fresh. But I would say I'm quite a traditionalist when it comes to my Final Fantasy games. I mean, Child of Light. As much as I would have problems with that if it was a Final Fantasy game, but nowhere near as many as I have with what I can see from 15 and what they're saying about 15. About how, the car is going to be a companion. And they're talking about how the driving experience is going to feel real, but then they're trying to separate themselves from Gran Turismo. I don't think anyone is ever going to think that Final Fantasy is trying to be like Gran Turismo. The fact that you've got a car doesn't... It's like if we had an airship, we're not going to say, well, you're trying to be Guns of Icarus. Final Fantasy's always had airships. We occasionally have cars as well, but this seems to be very heavily focused around that one vehicle. And it seems to be more of a road trip across the USA. It's like they've watched too many American films. They're not... Square Enix has to realise that it does better when it goes to its... when it goes from its roots. When it makes a game that is more Eastern, more Japanese, a JRPG, if you will, rather than what they're trying to do now and trying more to cater to the mainstream Western market. You know, they've seen what Dragon Age and Mass Effect have done, and well, they mentioned Skyrim a while ago, so obviously Skyrim's one of their big influences for Final Fantasy. But you know, you vacate the space in which Final Fantasy used to be, and which there are a heck of a lot of fans for. You know, myself included. Obviously, I'm going to fight my own corner. What, you know, the style of game that I want to see. And there will be a lot of people that do like this version of Final Fantasy 15. A lot of people are very excited to see what it's like. I will play it, and I might. Well, I hope really I will enjoy it. I mean, you know, fingers crossed on that one. There's no guarantees. But yeah, I mean, you know, why isn't the game focused around an airship? And you know, this is meant to be like Final Fantasy is meant to be a fantasy world. Yes, I know cars can exist in a fantasy world, but you want something a bit more ingenious. I mean, come on, even Cloud's motorbike from Final Fantasy 7, in the very small section you got to play it in, looks far more interesting than this piece of rubbish. I'm saying that because I've got it on the screen. And I don't like the idea of only controlling one character, you know, but they're saying that they're keeping in the Final Fantasy elements by having a party play system, which basically means you can tag in between each character. So, what does that mean? It does mean you're basically going down BioWare's, you know, line of, or style of play, I suppose, and gameplay. You know, this is even more far removed than Final Fantasy 13 was. I actually had some hope that Final Fantasy 13 would work really well and would do really well with its, you know, I was happy to accept some of the flaws in the combat system until I played it. While I was looking at it on the face of it, I thought, yeah, okay, this could work. You know, there's some stuff in there, you know, that probably will work and will do okay. But then when you actually play it, you realise just how terrible it is. And it's, like I say, it's so far removed from the Final Fantasies that I like and that I've played. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I think that when Final Fantasy 15 comes out, chances are probably a fairer comparison would be to compare it to the Skyrims, the Dragon Age Origins, the Mass Effects of the world. I will be comparing it to Child of Light. Now, Child of Light is, well, it's been given its title as an arcade game. You know, is available mainly as a digital download on PlayStation and Xbox. So the fact that I'm comparing it to that maybe something about me, but probably also says how far, you know, Final Fantasy or Square Enix have gone the other way. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to make that point. I shouldn't really be reading up on it, but there you go. I can't help myself, you know. They pop up. I'm in groups which like Final Fantasy, and you know, I talk to people who are very keen on Final Fantasy. So at the end of the day, you know, I am gonna get this information occasionally, but you know, this information is sort of coming from what people who have played the demo from Type 0 early on, and you know, the sort of stuff that they've been saying about it. But there you go. I have a new companion with me, Mr. Leonardo. He actually looks pretty good. These aren't cheap, by the way. Although I don't know how you would put a value on it. Obviously, someone has with the materials and the licensing and how much money they think they can make from it. But yeah, I'd say it was pretty cool actually. Leonardo's probably not the best looking one, but as in out of the four, obviously. Since I could only get one, because I suppose I could get. Well, no, I won't. I can't really afford to get all of them. I don't have enough space in here either. I can maybe get two, but yeah, no, I think it's good. I'd like to see him have katanas, but maybe that's deemed a bit too offensive. Anyway, guys, I'm going off topic from the video, but let me know what you think down below. I'm sure some of you have opinions on it, but quite frankly, the lack of an airship takes away a bit of the magic from Final Fantasy, I think. I don't know, just my thoughts on that. Thank you for watching, everybody, and I will see you all very soon.